when they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
And if you are listening live to UFO Paranormal Radio Network, you are now tuning into The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. And you're listening to us out of the beautiful city out of New Orleans, Louisiana on 105.3 and 107.7. And we're on many different platforms. We got people in the chat already, so welcome. We were just clearing up some audio issues. I'm going to do a few housekeeping things, introduce myself, and then hand it over to my amazing co-host, David. But if you've never seen me before, hi, welcome. My name's Lorilei Potvin. I'm a Canadian clairvoyant medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, and registered nurse. I'm also a host of my own show here on Monday nights called The Angel Rock. And we talk to people from all walks of life, and they share their stories by what they are also doing makes a positive change for humanity, whether it's extracurricularly or professionally. And just a few things. We are broadcasting to you on Roku, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, also known as United Public Radio Network, or just UPRN. We have our own TV channel. So you can find that by signing into Roku and going to the channel store. You're then going to look for UFO space P as in paranormal. There'll be a list that drops down from the menu. We're about the third or fourth one down. You're looking for UFO space paranormal and United Public Radio. Also, you don't have to do this, but just so we'll know who you are, if you're on Facebook and you've never been here before, please head over to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and you can just give them permission to use your picture and your name, or just let us know when you're posting, because otherwise you just come up as Facebook user. Now, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do, there's a few ways. Head over to United Public Radio, either on Facebook or YouTube. You can also head over to the Spirit Experience, which is my amazing co-host David Hanzel's channel. You can head over to his group, the Spirit Experience, or I'm also streaming on my Facebook profile under Lorilei Potvin. It's public, so anybody can go there. I've just pinned it to the top. Or I've already commented in the comments. You can comment on my YouTube channel, which is The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. Lastly, if you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family. We've got shows for everybody here. We've got hosts from all walks of life and backgrounds. There's something for everybody here. We've got hosts from over the UK. There's a couple other places around the world we've got them from. And when we're not streaming live, the archive server is running. This network has been around for close to 25 years. So there's shows streaming randomly from the past 25 years always. So there's something to listen to. And it's my 4th year anniversary here on UPRN coming up this week. So love this network. Make sure you share it with everybody. And now on to my amazing co-host, David.
Yes, and I am in my swinging pendulum. So you are getting sleepy. You're getting sleepy. Okay, I
told Dave he's got to yell because I'm hard of hearing. So if you guys...
I just wanted to sit someplace different tonight for some reason. Where did I see somebody was new, and I think it was Liam.
Hey, Liam, welcome to everybody else that's here too. Welcome, Liam, if you're new here, and anybody else that's new. Erica, Miras, I was talking about you earlier. We went live on Dave's TikTok. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but quickly, Dave, I wanted to say she wants your swinging chair, and I was telling people to come join us because I said we even have a resident crystal whore. That's your name you gave yourself. Sorry, Dave, continue. Tell people all about you, where to find you, the whole bit.
So I am David Hanzel. I'm a spiritual medium and practice Reiki. I channel, healer, counseling, so on and so forth. And I'm also a near-death experience survivor. And from what we're going to talk about tonight, I guess I would be categorized in the experiencer, but I've never been taken up by a UFO, not that I know of. But we're going to talk about some alien stuff tonight. Thank you for joining us, everybody. If you can't hear me for some reason, just holler in the chat and I will amp it up for you a little bit. And it's just really hot where I am, and it's just like a cooler corner. But outside of that, I hope you guys are really well. And Lorilei, like she said, we do a live on my TikTok channel usually Wednesday night, but we did it this afternoon, so there might be some other people showing up here.
I think Liam's from there because he said he's tired trekker everywhere else, and I remember his name from your TikTok tonight.
Oh, that could be Tired Trekker. Oh, Tired Trekker. There we go. And I bet you were tired of listening to us for an hour.
No. we do free readings and we tell, loving the purple, Lorilei. Well, thank you. Gotta hide the gray somehow. Premature gray runs in my family.
But I'm getting some too, but I'm in a dark room, so it's all good. I love
David, I said, needs to open his own hair care product. Everybody on his TikTok kept going, oh my God, I'm trying so hard not to be jealous, but I love David's hair. He does have beautiful hair.
My hair just looks pretty on here. It's not pretty in person. It's annoying as hell, but I'm going to let it keep going down to my butt because that's what I'm doing. I did tell somebody, it's really odd. I did my hair earlier this afternoon. I look back and it matches. I used to draw when I was a little boy. I was quite the artist, which I don't know where that went. I can't draw worth crap. I can't even draw a stick figure now, but
really?
I used to draw all the time, and I used to draw rock bands, and I was imagining me in a rock band, and I did end up for a short period of time being a musician in a band. But the picture I drew of myself, my hair, I just realized is exactly how I used to draw it.
Really?
So I think I came full circle. Yeah, I never got to have that hair when I was younger. I always wanted that hair. So now that I'm, over a half century old, I said, well, what the hell? Why grow that hair out?
You were predicting it. Oh, there you go. We need L'Oreal as a sponsor. Yep, a hair color. This is L'Oreal hair color. I use L'Oreal hair products. So if you're listening, L'Oreal, hit your BRN up.
Yeah, let L'Oreal know. And I don't use L'Oreal though. You know what? What do I use? It's called Clean Freak. Not Your Mother's. Those products. I love them.
Well, you're in the US and I'm in Canada. This is the beauty of the internet. And we're broadcasting out in New Orleans. Want to give Joe Montaldo a huge shout out. He owns this network. He's a host of many great shows on here. He does a lot of producing. He has UFO Undercover on Wednesday nights. He does The Centralist. He does news on the flip side. I know him and our amazing station manager, Michelle DeRoger, we're doing the Gray Zone Uncensored. I don't know if they're doing it, might be on hiatus, but I will tell you now if you're just tuning in, remember to stay tuned after this tonight because Michelle DeRoger and Amelia Pisano are up right after us with the Outer Realm. And it's the second night. They have a show Wednesday and Thursday nights. They're got an amazing show, amazing host, but amazing guests as well. Definitely. So what did you... Oh, go ahead, Dave.
Oh, no, I was going to say, so tonight, Lorilei, me and Lorilei, I was kind of decide what we're going to start the show out with. And we have decided, since we both watch a bunch of videos on TikTok, and some of you guys may have saw it, but it's the woman who freaked out on the airplane saying that she saw a shapeshifter. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, I watched the video many times. I've watched the video from different angles.
I didn't hear her say shapeshifter because I listened. She just kept saying, he's not real. He's not real.
I don't know if she said, she said something at some point that somebody brought up shapeshifter. I don't know. Oh, no, they said...
Because I didn't know what you were talking about. No, but I wanted to hear where you heard that.
That's it. I think somebody yelled out something about, he's a skinwalker. Some weird, I don't know how people are. Everything's a skinwalker to people nowadays. I saw an old lady across the street today, and she had weird hair, so I was yelling, skinwalker, get back. Yeah, skinwalker, you old cranky person.
Oh, you know what I did see very quickly, though? There was a video to add to this, and it was a news person, African American. Not that that matters, it doesn't. But he was on there and he was doing a report, filming it, recording it, and a gnat flew in his mouth, and he started swearing a blue streak. And the person goes, "This is an alien. This is a shapeshifter." I'm going, "What the heck are you talking about?" The fly flew in his mouth. But he turned his back and he was swearing. But as he turned around and they turned out, oh my God. His tongue was flicking out like a reptilian tongue. And then his eyes and face actually shifted like just 1 or 2 frames. It was crazy, Dave. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Hey, Howie, welcome.
Hey, Howie. Yeah, so what was I going to say? Oh, Liam put my ex of mine wasn't real either. Oh, all my exes were, I wish they weren't real. But hey, it is what it is.
Okay, so he says that, and then Howie says, comes running from the woods with bells around my ankles and wrists. Nude? Did someone call me? You better give Howie a shout out too, you guys.
Yeah,
Howie
well,
owns the Riff Network, and
yeah.
we're gonna be on his show on the Orion Effect. Sorry, I had to think for a sec. 7 o'clock to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's this Sunday. So mark your calendars. I believe Howie streams to Facebook too. Sorry, Dave, I wanted to jump in there and make sure I told him.
That was perfect. Well, let's see. Well, you had on bells around your ankles and wrists, so I don't think you were abducted unless you're abducted by a really flamboyant torturer, so of some sort. But anyway, so I watched that video over and over and over from different angles, and I came to the conclusion just from watching her that she wasn't an actress. I don't think so. And if she was, she was really good because she had the pauses and the breaths in all the right places that I usually would look for. Although somebody had said, "Oh, it's a reptilian," and this is the one that got me. Now they said, and I've got everything here, and I'll read it. I have a theory about that whole reptilian thing. Because they said, one guy said in this video, it's getting popular. He said he was on that flight, and he said after the girl left and everything, he turned around and looked at the guy, and he winked at him with his left eye, but he said his eyes went side to side instead of up and down. Here's the deal, you guys. When people say that, I'm not going to discount that he saw that. Far be it from me to correct anybody, because I've seen some weird crap. But if you're saying that simply because it's a reptile, that would be completely false, because humans, it's called the endectinate or endectiny. It's a film that goes over our eyes, and crocodiles, crows, and a few other reptiles still have that, where it goes from side to side. All that's there for is when reptiles would be eating a lot, like it make it all messy, those would close. So that membrane would close so the food wouldn't get in their eyes. It is not their eyelid that's going clip, clip. It is the membrane inside. Now, fun fact, human beings used to have that same membrane, but we have evolved out of it. We no longer need it, and neither do a lot of birds. And the birds who have it, it's basically so in flight, they can, with their eyelids open, they can shut that part. And that keeps the wind and everything out of their eyes and all that. So sometimes I find it funny when everybody keeps saying their eyes blink like that. And I'm sure they might have a membrane. Who knows? I wouldn't know why they would need it, as they're a race that's been a long time, way before us. But I don't know their eating habits. I mean, I have no clue what their eating habits are. Maybe they go num, 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 num.
Are you talking about reptilians?
Yeah. So maybe they need that. So I think people are just quick. And I always tell Lorilei, and the reason I get on my high horse about it, because people are always quick to judge, and it's a reptilian, and that reptilians are also bad. And the very first alien I saw was when I was a child, and I was about 4 or 5, and I saw him, and he was in our house. It was plain as day. It was physical. I remember the memory as if it was yesterday, and I still do. I don't remember his eyes having that, although I do remember this, though. His eyes were very dark. I couldn't tell you if he had that membrane or not. That would be hearsay, whether I knew or not. I don't remember it. But
it's called the nictating membrane. I just remembered it. Just came in my brain.
Thank you. But yeah, humans used to have that. But anyway, that reptilian was not evil in any way. Not that I know of. It was literally just letting me know it was there. And I can tell you this though, when you're in that position where you're talking to something that talks to you through your mind instead of verbally, he was he had quite the lack of emotion, if that makes sense. Which means I don't see them as being like real joyous and having parties and dancing. I mean, they seem pretty straightforward and emotionally straightforward.
They're kind of like Klingons. In other words, like it reminds me of what you're saying, like
Yeah,
Worf from Star Trek. He
watched.
wasn't all warm and fuzzy, but he was a good guy.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, I never really watched much that, but I know what a Klingon is. Yeah, they were very devoid, or like Spock almost. They were very devoid of that kind of emotion. But anyway, I that's the only reason I say that. I that's all I wanted to get out, is that whether it was a reptilian or not, we can't always jump the conclusion that all aliens are bad. Like Lorilei had just brought up, people say stuff about the Anunnaki being bad or this and that being bad. We can't make that judgment. And if we are trying to make that judgment now, they would know that. And maybe that's why they're not so stupid to just come down here, because they are, if these races are as ahead of the time as we think they are, they have no need for violence anymore.
Well, I don't know, because, okay, so what we were talking about, we were fixing audio, is we got lots of great comments too, I promise. Just want to shout this out though. Howie's show, The Orion Effect, is going to be on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram. So watch for that. 7 p.m. Sunday night, we're going to be on there. Okay, back to the aliens. Like I said, like all we ever hear, right, is the Pleiadians and the Arcturians. And, you know, I haven't heard a lot about the Lyrians, so, you know, off and on. But I think, you know, imagine if somebody came down here and had a run-in with some pretty nasty humans, and then they go back to the galaxy and explain that all humans are bad, they're evil, they're a primitive race, they're violent. They're, no, not everybody's that way. I think that in this existence that we are right now, that we have both, right? We have light, we have dark, we have night, we have day, we have whatever, right? But I don't know, Dave, I got to tell you, I've seen a heck of a lot of videos of people. Now, I understand with deep fakes and with video effects and photography, but even clips way back in the day, that when they're slowed down frame by frame, there's a lot of stuff that's been caught on video. Like I almost feel like they're living amongst us and shape-shifting, some of them, like especially reptilian race. And they're not necessarily bad or good. They're just living here.
I have zero expertise on them being shapeshifters. I don't know. I mean, I can't deny it, and I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't think of it. I don't have anything evidential for me on that, but Q is a form of an alien. Oh gosh, I wouldn't give aliens a bad name. That's for me personally. I don't think. I think Q is a human being that everybody just started listening.
Well, I think I know what she was talking about with the Star Trek reference. It just hit me with Q.
Oh, his name's Q. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there is the phenomena that we won't talk about on here. But as the alien, we got to be careful saying that letter, because the bots will hear us and think we're talking about the conspiracy stuff. But this is, I think, what Michelle's referring to is, we'll say the 17th letter of the alphabet, because that's what that letter is. And as it pertains to Star Trek. It was a book she read once. Well, maybe that's where the character was based on, was Star Trek, because there indeed was a being, an omnipotent being by that name.
That's true. That's true. I agree with what Howie is saying. Howie says, I will say they feel our emotions, and that's what's holding them back and us back. I agree. That is the reason why nobody's making the cells. It's because of us. I think that I think as soon as we just let all this, the earth is being destroyed. There's the Will Smith movies, all that stuff with what is that called? What was that movie? Oh, Independence Day. Worst case scenario, I don't think that would happen. And even if it did happen, well, whatever.
Well, I got a different theory on it, but it might be a different discussion and not on YouTube. But I think none of us are going to know what the future is. And what I'm going to throw out there that I think we can all agree with, we talked about this on your TikTok earlier, Dave, is the power of the mind, our thoughts, and our words, including our intention. Why the law of attraction works. So, do I believe we can shift timelines? Yes. Do I believe we can change our future? Yes. So, I always say from spirit, we got to focus on what we want to see, not what we don't.
Yeah.
How's that?
The weird thing is for the shift, I believe it's shifting all timelines simultaneously. I think that's the weird thing about it. I'm not sure.
I don't know, because what if somebody didn't have the intention to be in that timeline with you?
That would be in a separate one, but everything.
You look at that version of them in the timeline that we shift to. It always blows my mind once I start thinking about these things.
Because it's not that they won't, because they're in the same. They're in the same timeline. It was a book written by an abductee back in the 90s.
And then she said apology. She didn't realize it was more. Never apologize, Michelle, because I didn't know about this book. I want to check it out now. I think it sounds super interesting.
Yes.
Michelle's over in Australia.
But that's my thing on that. I think that she did see something. I can't say whether he was or not, although
I didn't say yet what I thought.
You what?
I didn't say what I thought yet.
Oh, but that's just me. And I'll give you a second, 2 seconds. When I watched the other videos too, the guy, even when they went in on, he didn't do anything. I'm not sure if they were part of it. For a moment, I kind of went through and thought he and she were together part of it. But she did get off the plane, and the plane did go someplace, and everyone was fine, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not quite sure what was going on there. What were you going to say, Lorilei?
Okay, so when you asked me about this earlier, I wasn't sure what you were referring to. And as you explained, I thought, oh, maybe it's the girl with the plane. So after we got off the live, I go on YouTube, I'm checking out stuff. It just came up as a notification, and it says Alien Life or whatever that video channel was, and this guy's video clip.
Yeah.
Now, far be it from me to call names, but I really have to call it like I see it. This guy saying he was on the same plane with this video. Like, he didn't really give us any video, like a little bit, but not really, kind of. Anybody could have taken it. It kind of felt a little bit like it was clout chasing. And the only reason I did is because I don't think he really gave us anything different to change somebody's mind. Like, if you really were watching this, and people his age would have their phone out.
Yeah, you're talking about the guy in the gray sweatshirt?
No, hang on. Let me grab the video because I sent it to you. I wasn't looking for either one of these, and then one popped up right in my Twitter feed. I'm never on Twitter. I was promoting our show, so give me a sec.
Perfectly. There's a lot of clout change.
I kind of felt like this was okay. So the one I'm going to tell you guys about that I sent Dave. Passenger freaks out on American Airlines flight. I will try and post the link in the chat for you guys because it's off of an alien channel, but he claimed he was on the same flight, but he's not filming anything. Like, you guys can see, I'll put the link up here. Like, he's just replaying video that was out there, and then he's telling his story, and he's the one that talked about the guy who winked at him and his eye went this way instead of this way.
Exactly. That's
okay. So the woman, do I believe? Because when I seen this, I kind of dismissed it, but I kept thinking, that girl's not drunk. Like, that was the report. She was drunk, or, and then I thought, is she acting like she's on drugs? And I thought, no. And then I thought, is she acting like she has mental health issues? And I went, no, I'm not picking that up from her. I wasn't sure what she had seen or what she was talking about. Then, like I said, we talked about it. Was it on your live or before your live? We talked about it.
A little bit before.
Okay, so then this came up in my feed, literally while I ran to YouTube for something. It came up. So he makes me feel kind of like he's clout chasing because,
that's what I think.
Yeah, because somebody his age, yeah, exactly, Leah Passmore, welcome. She says her voice sounded genuinely terrified. Now, they did not crash. That's what she was worried about. But for all we know, maybe she was the antenna, if you will, that if she had stayed on the plane, maybe it would have happened. Maybe something different would have happened, right? She changed things by leaving. Yeah. Now, the other one I sent, well, there was that one really funny. It had the Zuck, we'll call him on there, when she was
Oh,
young.
I
He isn't real. He isn't real. So hang on, I got to close this guy. I don't know why it's still playing. So it was on Twitter, and it was a different aspect with the video. It shows the guy in the hoodie. But I gotta say to you guys, I don't know, Dave, what did you think? Did you get anything from the close-up of him? Like, it didn't convince me that he was an alien or anything. I don't know. What'd you think?
when they showed him and they showed him his face, I got zero off him.
Yeah, me too.
The only thing I got, if anything, was his eyes were dark.
Dark. Yes, they were very dark. I will give him that. But what I think, looking at him like, holy crap, he's got an attachment or something. No.
So, he was a normal guy, and who knows? He might have even.
I believe her, anyways. That's my point. I believe her.
But you know what? I had told a girl one time, this is a long time ago, and I wish Brandy was here because Brandy would remember. There was another medium there, and she was with another medium, and we introduced ourselves, said hi, nice to meet you, and all that. And we're doing the same spooky con together. And Brandy, remember when we did?
Oh, Brandy's here. Hey, Brandy.
Remember when we did? I knew if I said your name, you would come. When we did the thing at the asylum, and for the first time, when me and Jessica got there, and we met, Debbie and Adam, and anyway, they're another set of mediums, and we started talking about something. They were in their little room, and I was standing outside the door, and we were talking about our medium stuff and all that. And then I can't remember what brought it up, but Adam asked something about something. And I said that there was a woman following her. And he's like, what? And I described a woman exactly as she was, like, literally standing right next to me. He goes, oh my God, that's a woman that I see every time he does an investigation, a ghost that he knew. So we were both describing the same exact ghost, which was really weird. And the fact that she was there instead of in his hometown. And then I said, well, Adam, I said, if you look above you on your right side, right above you, there, she just pointed out that crack in the wall, it looks just like her. And it was. All of a sudden, a profile appeared in the wall right next to him. And so me and Adam are like, wow, that's really neat. And the other medium said, that's spooky. And she was spooky all of a sudden. And then she started getting freaked out by me because she's like, how did you know that? How did you doing that? And I was like, you're a medium, you know. But I think it was just funny. So I think people can get, and she wasn't genuinely freaked out. She's a new medium. She just thought it was weird. That was weird for all of us, myself included. But the thing is that sometimes I think maybe the guy weirded her out, and she got she just got really freaked out on that.
Well, the one thing, okay, the clout guy I'm saying might be it. I'm not saying he is, okay, because I've been called things in the past about our paranormal experience that I had. I was practically alienated from my whole, hi, baby, haven't seen you in forever. Not you. Don't come over here. You already made enough appearances on TikTok. Stop. That, you know what that was all about? She wanted a potty break. Do you think she could have told me? On the TikTok, this giant beast kept climbing on the bed 6 times in a row and would not stop. Like, and she doesn't come on the bed. So I knew something was going on. Anyways, with the guy, I'll say clout chaser, because that's what I was saying. I had somebody that was newer to the paranormal world and had really climbed up the paranormal fame ladder. And I used to call into Jason Bland's show, Paranormal Soup, every week because I was trying to find out what was going on in our house. And I'm not going to let this go. I'm making a t-shirt. I'm going to own it. He didn't know I was a nurse. Never saw our pictures, never really saw our story, but he asked me to give him a call. And I was encouraged by a few of my friends to give him a call. And this is where, when we hear spirit, and those of you that do will know when you have that argument with spirit in your head. And I heard spirit say, you're going to want to record this. And I'm arguing with them in my head going, I'm not recording this. I don't record people. I wish to God I had. The second time I received that in all the years, I listened. And again, thank God I listened. anyways, this experience, he proceeded to basically tell me I was faking it. I was doing it for attention. And get this, tell me if you guys have ever heard of this medical diagnosis before. I was suffering from intergalactic satellite goldfish. Anyways, quickly got off the reason why I'm going here with the whole thing. Be careful with our words. We talked a bit about this on the TikTok when Dave and I were doing this live, because he told everybody I was a fake, and clout wasn't a word then. But basically I was clout chasing and making all this up. And people believed him rather than me. But my whole point is I finally got credibility when it went on TV. My whole point is I'm going to be very careful with calling him a clout chaser. It just sort of feels that way, seems that way with the age of this gentleman, because he would be about my eldest son's age. And those kids are never without phones. Like there's something going on there filming it. They are. He had no film footage. But he did make the point that he said if he really was there, he said that like they weren't even sitting together, it looked like, from what I had seen. And his mouth never moved while they were talking. So it sounds like this was a communication that was going on telepathically. Brandy, you want to tell her? You want me to tell Brandy who it is? She goes, is that Willow?
Nope, this is Angel.
Angel's so sweet. They're all sweet. Hi, Neil Carr. Welcome. We got so many great comments. Do you want to go back through a few of them?
Yeah. If anything you guys want to talk about, if you want to talk more about this, we're just giving you our 2 cents worth. I don't think it's been out long enough to get.
I believe her, and it sounds like a lot of people are believing her.
I believe that something happened to her. I really do. I don't believe she's faking it. And if she is faking it, she's a hell of a good actress and she fooled me. But I don't think she's faking it. I think she was genuinely upset by something. Although all the stuff that's around it, I don't necessarily believe in. I know she yelled out something, but she may have yelled it out in fear. And if she didn't yell it out in fear, then she yelled it out because she's an actress and she's trying to make a really good TikTok. But everybody else, whoever the people who are filming her, I mean, she left the plane. So she left the plane and she didn't go. So if one of her friends were filming her, that means that they would have to go through great lengths for their friend to go on a trip without her and just to get that video.
Yeah, no, I'm going to mention how he said something in here. I'll read it in a minute, but we've got Brandy says, I love your chair. Everybody's saying they love your chair. This was something I didn't want to ignore because Sandra says we have Emily here tonight and she does some awesome spirit box sessions because she does mention, I'm going to go down the comment list here, that Emily does Estes method. So we can talk a wee bit about that if people want to. So we got Silent Diva here. Hi, in case we didn't say hi. Yeah, here we go. Emily says, thanks, Sandra. I use the Estes method. It's a lot of fun. For people that don't know what the Estes method is, do you want me to explain it, Dave, or you want to explain it?
I don't know. I don't even know if I know the Estes.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is. Me and my paranormal addiction, watching all these paranormal shows. Actually, I only watch on YouTube, and there's a few I follow. Love the Foreman Brothers with Paranormal Nightmare. Love Nuke's Top 5. I also enjoy the Paranormal Files, Twin Paranormal. They're young. They're a little bit over the top, but I think their heart's in the right place. The Estes method is somebody sits in a room where they expect to have some activity. They are connected via noise-canceling headphones to a spirit box, okay? They're blindfolded and they can't hear any noise outside. Now, another person can go into another room or somewhere out of earshot so you know the person that is connected to the spirit box can't hear anything that they're going to say. And the person that's not connected to we'll say the paraphernalia, they start asking questions of spirit. The person whose eyes are covered with the noise-canceling headphones repeats whatever they hear out of the spirit box. And I have seen time and time again with the Estes method is a lot of people will take the headphones off, take whatever off, and they'll go, did that make any sense? Because it made no sense to me. And it's like mind-blowing, the intelligent responses that come through.
So I'm confused in the, okay, so somebody sits in a room with the spirit box.
No, yeah. Okay, so I'll show you. Okay, so pretend I'm doing the Estes method. You're there. We could do it like this if you want it. Okay,
Okay.
I'm here. This is a blindfold. I've got headphones on and I'm connected to a spirit box. So I can hear the responses. Usually the person that's answering the question can also hear the spirit box because it's out loud, but I guess they connect the audio to the
Asking the
headphones.
question.
Pardon?
Asking the question?
No, so the person connected to all the paraphernalia, they're just listening. They're
Okay.
listening to anything they hear through the spirit box. Okay. They're not
All right.
asking any questions. They can't hear what the person who is asking the questions is asking. They're just repeating whatever they hear coming through the spirit box. They can't see anything. They can only hear the spirit box. They can't hear anything on the outside. Nothing. So they could get touched, like anything could happen. So they have no idea what questions are being asked by the person who is leading the question session.
That's what I meant. So the other person is asking spirit questions, and it's only going to be audible to the woman or the man or the woman who are blindfolded with all that stuff. Gotcha.
Yes.
That's a really good way of doing it, because then, if they write down, they ask this question, they go, I don't know why I heard this. I'll be like, because I just asked that question.
Well, that's what I said. By the time I have seen most people that do it take off the paraphernalia, they go, did that make any sense? Because it made no sense to me. And the person that is asking the question is going, holy crap, you have no idea how much sense that made. Here, Brandy's got a good comment on it. She says, I enjoy the Estes method. It's an interesting experiment. Have you seen people bring a water deprivation tank? I really want to do that. I don't think I have. Have you, Dave?
No, I've never saw somebody bring a water I've never wanted to do a water deprivation tank. I know a lot of people do.
No.
I can't.
I couldn't either.
I just don't want to. Maybe I could have years ago. The Estes methods. Hey.
Okay, so Emily's explaining what she does. So Emily says, I don't hear the spirit box when I do it, just the receiver. I do record both parts though. Okay, gotcha. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, Emily. So you hear just the receiver? I'm not sure what that means.
I don't know if maybe, are you saying, Emily, like say you're in one room and you've got like your little let's say EVP recorder, and then somebody else is in the other room with all the stuff hooked up, and then you ask the question, so you're going to get it on your EVP recorder and on the spirit box?
Let's see what she answered. Oh, okay. Brandy says she sounds like Emily is the one asking the questions. That's what I was wondering.
Oh, okay.
Because people have got some good comments here. So I'm going to go up a bit and then I'll read Emily's answer. So Silent Diva says, sounds like the method they use on kindred spirits. I'm not quite sure what that is, but the person above, that's the one I wanted to get. Sorry. Says Erica, they don't even know if one of their colleagues come into the room or not. No, they don't. So let's go down to Erica's left us an explanation, but I want to see what Emily has to say. So Emily says, there's one recording when no one was in the same room and the guy was hooked up, had his mask pulled from his face. He thought it was one of his team members messing with him, but no one was in the room. Oh, God, yeah, I've seen that lots where they get touched. She says the receiver is the one who is hooked up to the box. Okay, so you're the receiver hooked up to the box. Yep, that's how I would picture the receiver. I got to go back to your comment. So you say you don't hear the spirit box when you do it, just the receiver. I do record both parts though. So I'm not quite sure what you're saying. Maybe it's the way I explained it, because yeah, you're going to be receiving whatever's coming through. Or are you meaning you're picking up messages telepathically? Right? Or am I missing something, Dave?
No, I think I kind of get it. I like these different experiments that we do. I often thought of doing this, but this might, I don't know. The other one was, I know I mentioned one last week, but another one too is when I've done some stuff like around here locally. If somebody asks me, hey, there's something in my house, could you check out? It's kind of bothering my kid. Yeah, absolutely. I don't charge for that. I just go over there and do it. Most of the time,
I got you.
95% of the time, it's absolutely nothing. But I have taken my little EVP recorder with me and a notepad, and I'll start talking, and then, like you guys know, that I hear medium who hears, and sometimes it comes in subjectively, most times objective. Most times subjectively. Very few times is it objectively, because that would drive you crazy if you heard it outside your ear all day long. But I'll go there, I'll ask the question, and then I'll write down the answer that I believe I got, and then I'll go through the EVP and see if the EVP says the same answer
Oh,
as the
that's a cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so Howie, I think, has explained this well. So Howie, I'm going to read your comments. Okay, you can use an SP7 or any ghost box coming through on a headset. The second asks specific questions. The first listens and calls out the phrases or saying being said in the headset. Absolutely, you were right, Howie.
Perfect.
And then Howie says there is a receiver and questioner, and then I'm going to read what Emily and Sandra said, or the group asks questions while the receiver receives the comments from the equipment. That's pretty clear cut. I don't know if you guys don't understand that, but that's pretty clear cut. That's exactly how it works.
I got that.
So Emily says, I record the spirit box directly and separately record what the receiver is saying and the questions I ask. And then Sandra says, Emily has her hubby be the receiver. You need two people for you should have two people for the Estes method, basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, Neil says, I've been watching paranormal investigators for decades. It used to be EVP sounded subtle, and now that all sounds loud and very scratchy and distorted. What's up with that? Well, I'm going to answer. I'm not an expert, and you feel free to jump in. I think it's just the evolving of equipment and people discovering what works better and what doesn't. And it depends, right? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I've heard some people with equipment that put so much reverb or whatever they echo. And I've never understood a thing that comes through there with headphones on or not, right in front of me or not, because there's so many great devices out there. I have a few myself. I don't use them, but I have them in case I ever need them. But I don't know. What's your thoughts, Dave? Why do you think, or anybody else in the chat, why do you think Neil's noticing this from what he did?
EVPs, same thing. If things have changed, it all depends on what they're using. I mean, let's face it. Very few. You can buy a little voice recorder from Amazon. I think those work pretty well, actually. But a lot of people are using high tech stuff now. And then my problem with the whole EVP is, and I've said this before, somebody will get an EVP and right away they'll say, hey, everybody, I caught this EVP. This is what they're saying. And then he says it. And then when they show it on a screen, they print the words up as it's talking. Yeah. You are going to hear whatever it is you're reading. It's just how it's going to be. And we know that even from those little fun things they do on TikTok and everything. So my thing is, if I catch an EVP, I cut out that EVP part, and then I'll ask somebody, what do you hear here? And then
no, I understand that, but like he said, the way they sounded before, Howie said correct. I want to thank Brandy and Howie, because I actually explained the Estes method incorrectly. What Brandy is saying here is exactly right, and she's right. And I was trying to say, because we can't hear the spirit box, we only hear the responses. You'll hear what I'm saying. And the reason why I'm thinking of that on the paranormal files, Colin, he'll actually do like the voice that you hear or the growl or whatever, right? And I realized you don't hear the spirit box, only the receiver does. So let me get her comment.
I have to agree with Brandy about let's see, where did it go? Let me see real quick. Oh,
okay. Well, while you're looking, let me read this correction, because Brandy is absolutely right. And everybody else that's been talking in here, for anybody listening. When I have been the receiver, I have noise canceling headphones on, check. Hooked up to the spirit box, check. With a blackout mask, check. Okay. The person asking the questions cannot hear the spirit box with a camera recording. She's absolutely right. So all you do hear, and that was my error, is what the receiver is reporting verbally, what they are hearing. So they were absolutely right. I was wrong. I wanted to make that distinction.
Okay. I am absolutely correct about everything I say. Okay. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
what's a comment you wanted me to highlight? Liam, though, I want to say, says, this is new to me. I
This
used to
is
think it was all fake. I find it fascinating.
It's not fake. I'm sorry. I've been around this stuff all my life, and it's really not fake. The only thing that's fake is a lot of TV shows, and I'm so sorry that they're out there, but they are entertainment, and that's what you got to watch them as, entertainment. But Neil says it seems like it's popular, which makes me suspicious. You're talking about the EVPs, but then I'm going to answer that. But then Brandy put something very, very true, and you got it up there, which is I don't think EVPs are as common as people portray. And do you want to know what? I believe that's correct. Audible, perfect sounding, to the point EVPs are not as common, but they're out there. Most EVPs you get from most ghost hunting groups are, look, I asked a question. I asked how long have they been here? And they just yelled out murder. What ghost wouldn't answer the freaking question? You didn't ask what happened to you. You just asked how long.
But okay, so we're talking about Class A EVP. So trying to make it sound like it's so popular. I will tell you that the EVPs that came through when I called in 2 Halloweens, one year after another, to Paranormal Soup, I would call those EVPs Class A, 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 A. You
and
did
those
not.
aren't out there. What we're saying is those are very rare, the really good ones.
That's what I was just about to say. They are so rare. You would not need to read the inscription across the front for 99% of that conversation. It is so clear and creepy.
I could not agree with you more. And that's my deal on it. When the ones that you can hear so perfectly, those are the ones I want to get out to everybody. Those are the ones that I want to ask people, what did you hear? Ask 10 different people, what did you hear? And if you have 8 out of those 10 people going, we heard this, and it's, I would say, yeah, well, that's an EVP then. But for the most part, I think a lot of them, they're not that they're fake. I mean, who knows? In the grand scheme of things, I mean, we're recording a disembodied voice. So it's not going to be that clear, unless it came out right next to it for some reason.
I like the Foreman brothers because sometimes I want to shake them and go, pull out the spirit box, because you can't hear what they're hearing, but you can hear something in the background. Like they don't even have a spirit box going and they will hear it. But I don't believe they fake it. The other reason it drives me crazy, sorry, Colin, but it does on the Paranormal Files. I love new people entering any field, and I get why he does it, but because it's pitch black, we don't see that with night vision, but he screams like just every time he gets something. It's a little showy, but what I do like about him, and I believe him, he investigates with his family, including his parents. They have gone to notorious hotspots where there should be all kinds of activity. That's all you ever hear of. They've been to them. Sometimes they get nothing, and they show you, we get nothing. Like they're not going to fake it. And that's one of their things. And that's why I like that. Is that Willow?
No, this is Pom Pom.
Oh, Pom Pom. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's see what this says. Okay. Neil says, whenever I've tried getting EVPs, if anything, it sounds very subtle, like in the old days. I don't want to think people are faking, but many sound demonic in YouTube. Yes, but that's the other thing with demons. Demons are not like around the corner everywhere you turn that it's paranormal. But like Dave said lately, and I agree, everything is either a skinwalker or it's demonic. Hey, Dave?
That's true. The skinwalker, it's demonic. Who's that lady down the road? I don't know, but she's a demonic skinwalker.
Yes. Oh, there you go. Then you hit the jackpot.
Yeah, she's a demonic skinwalker, not just your average skinwalker. That skinwalker is demonic. That skinwalker is drawing pentagrams in his basement. But
okay, so Howie's saying, I had mine pinned, and I will pin them back up to the top because I have a lot of new followers. So we have some of our pictures, those 2 Halloween EVP sessions where I called in from the most active part of our previous home to Paranormal Soup. And then I've got pictures. Oh, and then I got our episode on Paranormal Survivor. It's on YouTube here. You can look it up. It's season 4, episode 9. It's called Demonic Hauntings. And I told them, and they were filming it, and they have the little clacker. And what did they put on there? Lorilei's Demon. And I told them, if you call this episode Lorilai's Demon, we're walking out that door and we're not filming. They assured me it wouldn't be, and they did not call it Lorilai's Demon, but you can see it on the clacker, so you can find it that way. But you can find it and watch it. We got so many comments here. You guys really want to talk about this.
You know, with EVPs, and I love EVPs, and you know why I love EVPs the most, you guys, and Laura Lee might agree with me on this one, is because being a medium, how we hear sometimes is very broken up. Sometimes it's a word, sometimes it's only 3 words we grab. Sometimes I hear, if they get into my head, it's an entire thought process. But for the most part, if I'm just standing here in the beginning of a reading, I hear it in my head almost like an EVP at first until I get that connection or that link. Once we get the link, you're linked in, then you can start hearing it better.
You know what's the biggest shock for me with mediumship? Because that's one of my newer gifts that sort of has come in over the last 7-8 years, is I'm so clairaudient. I hear spirit all day long. I don't hear voices, but I hear it within the mind's eye. But with mediumship, like I speak 3 languages, so it's like going to a different country, but you don't know what country you're going to. For myself, because sometimes in a whole conversation, I may get audio, I may get visual, I may get smell, I may get a feeling, I may get a sensation, I may get colors, I may get symbology too. You just never know what you're gonna get.
I used to only hear it when I was younger, and what happened to me is after I was sick and after all that, I literally, when I sit down with anybody or when I do anything mediumship wise, I don't depend on any clair. I don't ask for them to use a clair. I don't ask for them to talk to me. I just sit there and just become the observer and become open. And sometimes you'll see a word and a picture at the same time. Sometimes it's all pictures. Sometimes it's feelings. Sometimes it's smells and feelings. Sometimes it's a picture and a word.
I just expected to hear is what I meant to say. And that's my fault for doing that. Like, it wasn't like I'm going, oh, I'm being clairaudient, but because it's so natural for me, I expected, because I'm connecting to the other side, that I was just going to hear. And that's not what happened. So again, you just have to be open to what comes through and just accept it, receive it. And even though sometimes say you or I may not understand it, as soon as you give it to the person you're reading for, they know exactly what it means. Remember with the goats with you?
Yes. Oh my goodness gracious. Look at all these comments.
I know.
Let's talk about
highlight, Dave.
Let's stay in the ghosties for a minute, because when I was younger, me and my mom would watch Ghost Hunters, the original Ghost Hunters.
Yes, with Jason and oh God, I just had his name.
Religiously, and we watched it. You know, at first, this was years ago, well before I was sick. We watched it years ago because we grew up in a house like that. I mean, I heard stuff all day long, and my mom heard stuff, and we all heard stuff. So we'd laugh at the show sometimes. We were like, "Well, they didn't hear anything, though." You know, we'd laugh, but we both liked the show in the beginning and respected it because they didn't try to make anything. They didn't really try too hard to make something.
They made me mad sometimes because I felt they dismissed people when I think people really had a problem. That sometimes annoyed me.
They did, but that's because in the beginning, they were all about the facts. They were all about EMF meters and trying to find out, well, this is causing paranoia, and that's why you're seeing that. And that's how they were in the beginning. But anyway, that show kind of went south after a while. But what happened was that was a decent show without any scariness to it. But then all the other ones that seem to come in, it's like somebody said, okay, we're going to make another ghost show, but we're going to have to up it one. So we need reactions, you guys. We need you to react to everything.
We know who the one after Ghost Hunters was. It was Mr. Tight T-shirt wearing Mr.
I don't know if I can say if I'm not a fan of something. I still like the original Ghost Hunters. I didn't like where it went. I cannot stand Ghost Adventures. And I also, Ghost Brothers. I thought that was I did not like that show. My mom loved it. She watched Ghost Brothers religiously. Boy, she got a kick out of that show.
Well, don't you remember with Ryan Buell? I forget what that show was called. Paranormal State. Do you remember that on TLC? And then it's really sad.
paranormal state. Everything was a demon. Everything was this. Everything, and they had that ominous voice. With that young kid, didn't it
Well, he
turn out?
got proven to be fake. He said he was dying of pancreatic cancer, and
Yeah,
it's so
all kinds of
sad because this is already so questionable, this field. A lot of people like, oh, that's a bunch of crap, that's a bunch of whatever. And then when things like this, somebody builds a level of fame and they get knocked off their pedestal, like you got to be truthful about this stuff. You really do. You
so.
might be suffering from intergalactic satellite goldfish. I'm making a
I
t-shirt with
wonder why. And
that.
listen, if I had my own ghost show and we did this half hour, and at the end, I said, okay, there's nothing here. But we don't want to waste as much time. Sorry, we're wasting it because I'm not going to lie. I could never lie
I wouldn't
about
lie
this.
either.
I can't lie and pretend that I heard something. I mean, in jump scares, do I get jump scares?
I
Oh
hate
my
jump
God,
scares.
yeah. Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm a big old baby. You will not find this guy. You know what? I won't walk through like a haunted house at Halloween, like a normal haunted house, because
Mm-mm.
ghosts don't scare me, but real people jumping out of walls makes me nervous, and I hate that.
Well, you know what? I don't even know if I told you this. During the last 3 years, we can't say the C word, it'll set the censorship off. But I got asked by a previous host on our network. He had a deal with Netflix. And another fellow Canadian who was on our network, I didn't know she had been asked either. We took the meeting with Netflix. It was a go ahead. I haven't seen the show out yet, but it was a go ahead. Like it was just a given. This was just a formality. And we were all supposed to go to various places and get locked down for 25 to 28 days straight and record what we were picking up as mediums, intuitives, investigators, and what have you. But we couldn't go because we were Canadian and we weren't allowed to cross the border. It would have been such a cool experiment and experience. I don't know if they filmed it or what they did, but we were supposed to do that. That would have been cool to do. Like stay in a location for a long time rather than you got 6 hours in here, you get what you get.
Yeah, I don't like us. Yeah, that's exactly. See, that's what I think I would do. I would rather just say, "Hey, this is a one-time shot. We're going to stick these 5 people in here." Yeah, and
Mhm.
I don't know.
It would have been for a whole month and we would have been locked down in there. I was game. I would have done it. And the
You
other
got,
person was too. But like I said, it was during that time, plus to try and get us work visas because it was being filmed over in the US. So, and we were sad, but we realized, I guess it wasn't meant to happen at that time. So maybe it'll be another opportunity. It's just, it was such a great idea.
yeah.
Because I'll tell you, my partner, Dell, he's right about this. Because every show we see, don't you just guys notice that the camera always seems to be set up in just the perfect spot for spirit to appear
Oh,
or something to happen?
yep.
Mhm.
It's always. But the only other thing I can say is the only other thing if they could defend themselves with is that they had 5 different cameras and they chose that camera's footage.
Well,
But
that's okay. Yeah.
that would be okay, I think.
Well, have
My
you ever seen the videos? These guys own one of the UK's most haunted old hotels and bars, and they rent out, they have the whole place is wired with cameras, and they have people come and stay the night or go on tours. Paranormal teams come through and they are filmed, and the guys monitor the activity from the back room, and they have caught the craziest stuff on camera. Craziest. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called, but I don't think it's faked because when you see these guys reacting to what they'll see happen and then you see the footage in the room where it happened, it's like, holy crap.
yeah.
Like apparitions, things breaking, things flying off shelves, like you name it.
I'm most interested in the stuff that gets moved. And I know that that's real, but I also know in a lot of shows it's very fake. But it is real. And I'll say that because I've had things move that I've
Mhm.
watched move with nothing there. So,
Oh, I miss Sandra. You guys for that are new here. Sandra said the demonic thong at the end of the bed. Now, the reason why, do you want to tell why we're called the thong at the end of the bed, or you want me to?
somebody, yeah, Laura Lee put up a picture of Kevin Bacon one time, and I can't remember why,
Okay,
but
because
better tell it.
I don't like horror movies. We're talking about scary stuff, right?
Oh, Halloween.
And
First time. Oh,
my
no,
partner
first
made me watch
Friday the
Friday the 13th, the first movie. And so it really wasn't that scary. And they get to Kevin Bacon out on the dock wearing his Speedo. And we're both looking, going, what the heck is that in his pants? what is that? So we take a screenshot and we blow it up. We never, the consensus, what did we think was in there? A pack of gum? Something was stuck in there to stuff the.
If I was Kevin Bacon, it wasn't a full piece of bacon. It was a bacon bit.
It was something, but it was not real, whatever it was. And we like people are still messaging me about that show. That was like 3 weeks ago. And so it was it you, Sandra, that called it the thong at the end of the bed. So that was a big joke.
Yeah, they called their show the thong at the foot of the bed instead of the thing. It was funny.
We got some good comments here. Should we read these? Because Michelle is mentioning her experience. You want to read that? And then I'll read, we can do Howie's and go down.
Michelle says, I did a spirit box thing once. A spirit box thing. Yeah.
Thing.
Ruined. An old man's voice came through saying gun, shooting. Found out days later there was a shooting at that place in the early 1890s. It was interesting. I love stuff like that. Although I would have went back more. I would have asked specifically because it was 1890. I would have asked all kinds of questions because I love stuff like that. Once, if I get like 2 or 3 words off an EVP, I will investigate the situation to hell. I will go down that rabbit hole. I love knowing that. I think that's very cool. I'm glad you had that experience.
Cool. And then Howie says, I also used a black light in the session talking about, I think, EVP sessions he's done. He's got some really interesting, if you guys scroll back through the comments, or Howie, feel free to type it again, of his YouTube channel. He said like native chanting and all kinds of things. So he had mentioned to check it out, but he says, I feel spirits are calmer using black light over IR.
I asked the spirit, something. It's the IR is the other light. It's like a
infrared.
Yeah, infrared. Thank you. I had asked a spirit one time at a house, and I'm you guys. Sorry, this is gonna have to be hearsay. There's no way I can prove it to you. You're gonna have to take my word on it. I had asked that spirit because how do you see me? And I ask spirits when I do readings how they see me, but I wanted to know how a ghost would see me, somebody who's between worlds. And he was very ominous. He said, I don't see you, I hear you, and I don't like it.
Wow. That was a good question.
It wasn't, yeah, but I think that he said that he didn't say it mean like that. I didn't get a mean feeling, but I got the feeling that he was like in another world and I was the ghost, and he wasn't very happy that I kept shouting his name out.
Yeah, but we hear that, right?
Yeah.
Depending on where you go, there's people that are quite rude, and I'll say, you're dead, right? Or how'd you die? Instead of treating the person with some respect, even though you haven't got a physical body in front of you.
Yeah.
And how many people say back to them, no, you're dead.
You're dead. Yeah. And that's true. They might be in another world going, we're completely fine. What's that stupid what's that irritating noise coming from?
Yeah, how do you know we're really not the ghosts on the other side in a different dimension?
Yeah, but thank you, Howie. That's to ask that question. And he said, I don't see you, I hear you. Now, when I do readings,
I don't know where you are. So because people can't see the comments, only you and I can. So where am I going?
He wrote that was an excellent response there. Howie.
Okay.
Yeah, we could be their ghosts. Now, in the movie The Sixth Sense, I think they said they went to what's her name? She was a famous medium. She died.
Blonde hair.
Yeah. Why can't it?
Oh, God. I can see her. Jean. Is it Jean something or?
She was on Montel Williams all the time. Why can't
I know? Somebody will tell us. Okay, I want to just read a few comments
Sylvia Brown.
First. What?
Sylvia Brown.
Thank you. Oh, not even close to Jean. Let me just read a few comments here, please. Okay, and then we'll talk about Sylvia. So okay. Howie says our emotion and energy can affect if the spirits answer or even communicate as well. Definitely.
Absolutely.
But this was important. Zach was so rude to people. I know he's referring to Ghost Adventures. Make sure you guys look up Zach Baggins on Wheel of Fortune with his sister Meredith. That's quite a sight to behold. and he does not look like what he did. Mind you, how many of us look like what we did when we were younger, right? A lot of us keep going, what was I thinking? But the reason why I brought this up is we have our own resident, Zach, who's not here, and he's never rude. So just so he knows, Zach Powers, if you see him on here, as well as this last one I wanted to bring up because I think it's important. We were talking about Ryan Buell with Paranormal State, and I used to really enjoy that show, even though, yes, everything was demonic. But how he did say Ryan did do some bad things, but he is good. He made some mistakes, yes, and he did. And we've all made mistakes, so we all gotta hold space and give grace, especially when people address it and try and make amends for it. Sorry, where did you want me to go?
Okay, let's go to. We're talking about some.
About Sylvia Brown.
Well, that's okay. So she's got Sylvia Brown, which I have a theory about Sylvia Brown. If anybody reads the Sylvia Brown books, the way she describes, and I didn't think about this, and I didn't think about this till after my near death. But she always described this world was like this, that, and the other thing, and they had cars that floated above the grass. So then she talked about her guide as I'm going to meet my soulmate David, and we're going to have a picnic together, like they're having this love affair and marriage. And I was like, wait, are you talking to the other side? Are you talking to a guide that's in a physical reality? Because that's not the other side. You're talking to a guide who is in a physical reality. And I think and yes, you can have that after here, of course. But that's what she made everybody think it was like. And I know she made some mistakes, and I think it was unfortunate that she was actually on Montel and they were just spouting out stuff and they made it into a spectacle. Plus, Sylvia Brown didn't coin herself as a medium, but she did as a psychic. So I never understood why, if she wasn't a medium, how she could hear her guides, because that would mean you're a medium. You have medium abilities. But then Liam talked about Miss Cleo.
I'm trying to find this joke I have that's hilarious about Miss Cleo.
I know it's funny with Miss Cleo.
I'm going to show Kevin Bacon, by the way, for the thong. Look it up. You can find it, because I know we got new people on here tonight. I should remind you quickly, if you're just tuning in, you're listening live to The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. I'm one of your hosts, Lorilei Potvin, with my amazing co-host, David Hanzel. And we're listening on 105.3 and 107.7 out of New Orleans, Louisiana, on United Public Radio Network, otherwise known as UFO Paranormal Radio Network. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Like the Miss Cleo, Dionne Warwick, and Michael Jackson's sister. What was her name? Latoya Jackson. They all did the California Psychics and all this stuff. I don't care if California Psychics is listening to this, but do yourself a favor. Tell everybody to never, ever, ever, ever call that in. They literally hire people who read off a script, and what they do is try to keep you on the phone the longest. Ask your son.
Have you seen the ones that are so much advertising for this one psychic readers thing, and they're going, yes, I knew something was wrong. He was coming home late from work, and the secretary, he kept talking about her constantly. And then my life was over because I was positive he was cheating until I dialed into Lorilei at such and such a psychics, and she completely gave me the answers I needed. Like, this is constantly, I've been seeing this. Have you seen that?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Sandra, I'd send one of her books. I had it on the way down here when I first moved here, but I lost it. I think I like Sylvia Brown. I'm not saying she's bad. The thing is, they put her on such a pedestal. They showed so much, and she did stuff that I know somebody who knows her. Isn't she dead now, though? I can't remember.
She is dead.
Okay, yeah, she was the original scammer, but then Dionne Warwick and all that got on.
No, but we got to read this, Dave, because people are listening. So what I'm showing right now is a meme of Miss Cleo, and it says, "Kids today will never know the original scammer." 1-800-863-7998, referring to Miss Cleo.
And I think that's like the same.
I'm going to find this advertising, because you brush that aside. I am telling you, I want to hear if anybody else is getting this, because I'm not looking up psychics on YouTube. This isn't old. This is like nowadays. Like, you can call this psychic hotline.
Oh yeah, they got a lot. Now Gene Dixon and all these guys, I'm going to say about this, the early psychics, there were some scammers, but there's a lot of early psychics that have progressed throughout the years, because I don't know why, but Gene
Oh,
Dixon,
here we
I
go.
think Gene Dixon was a scam on a bit. I people are gonna hate me for it, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I refused to buy one of her. I did never would buy a deck of her cards because there was something off about her energy, and that was
Jean Dixon?
no. Who is the lady who just went? She made all the cards, the oracle sets, and the oracle
Oh,
cards.
no, 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 no. I have her Dexterine
I know.
Virtue, and I just shared something. This woman completely has denounced mediumship. Anything she's created, it is all demonic. She is a born again Christian. And I sent the post to a friend, and it said, "Oh my, how the mighty has fallen." I'm not kidding. Mhm.
Yeah, she was somebody when she first came out, and all my friends in the beginning were buying her cards. I mean, they're useful and they're beautiful cards. It doesn't matter what intention they were made in, because of the fact that the cards are the cards are being read through you. So it doesn't matter who made the cards for you. Beelzebub could make you a deck of cards and you could still
Mhm.
get beautiful messages from them, because
Mhm.
the messages come through you, not through the cards. But when people talked about Doreen Virtue all the time, I was like, they're like, oh, I love Doreen. Did you read her stuff? I'm like, I can't read anything she does because there's something off about her. And whenever she went, aloha, I wanted to reach my hand through the TV and slap her. But she made some beautiful decks of cards. Absolutely beautiful decks.
I've talked about my angel board. Nobody has seen an angel board. I don't know how rare they were. I took my certified angel card reading course with her in the beginning of her, okay? Because she
Mhm.
was one of the only ones that was really making decks back then besides tarot decks.
Yeah.
I have almost every one of her Hey, speaking of Doreen, I have almost every one of her decks. But what I really wasn't that I was so much drawn to the mess to what she was putting out there. The decks were beautiful. On top of it was a stepping stone to begin my learning and mentoring because you've heard me many times, Dave. We agree with this, and I've said it on my show and this show. I encourage all people to work with a variety of mentors. Never
Every,
get hooked on just one mentor.
yeah,
Work
because
with a
Doreen,
bunch.
I think Doreen Virtue in the very beginning was very, very her intentions were beautiful in the beginning.
Mhm.
Something happened to her along the line, and I started reading that, and I was like, no.
Anyways, the angel board I got to tell
Oh,
this story quickly. I was
no,
looking for everything. I wanted all the rare things. Like I have a candle kit from her. I have all kinds of stuff. And I seen this angel board and I went, oh crap, people want $200 for this. I'm not paying for this. I don't even know what this thing is. So I found one on Amazon years ago and it said used. And I think it was like $30 or something. I thought, well, you know what? It's $30. We'll see what happens.
yeah,
This thing had never been opened ever. And it is beautiful. It's big. It's got a 12 spoke wheel, and each wheel is governed by an archangel. But say it really does give really, really precise readings in the fact that, say, somebody wants something hard and fast, and maybe they're a bit of a skeptic or they're just not sure. It will pinpoint, say, yes and no, and it governs home, love. There's 12 different things that could affect somebody's life. So there's 4 archangels. Represented by little crystal figurines in 4 colors, then green, yellow, royal blue, and like a violet, a beautiful violet. There's 2 crystal dice, and you shake the dice as you're asking the question. And before you start, you ask the person, you can pick up to 4 different spokes off the wheel. And then we shake the dice, and then you move the dice each turn, like how far up, and it gives you your answer. I have a video on it on my YouTube channel, but I don't use it that often, but once in a while I will. And it's a lot of fun. And I'll tell you, I've
hey,
gotten feedback. It's been pretty accurate.
I was gonna say, I bet that is a lot of fun. I love boards. I mean, I can make a. I've made I just took a piece of paper and made for my divination, my little rocks.
Oh yeah, I've done that before. Yeah.
Now I wanted to ask you, Lorilei. Okay, Lorilei, on TikTok, and I'm sorry you guys to bring this up, but you guys probably saw this, but I thought I want to bring it up. Do you ever see those people? And it's like a little
I know what
magnet.
you're going to say.
Yeah, and it's got yes, no, maybe, and all that. And then somebody asks a question, and they twirl it, and they go, "Looks like no, love. You're not gonna live to see next week. Sorry."
Yeah.
And then they go on and on. I personally, my
Mhm.
personal opinion, when I see that, I'm like, that's okay for a fun TikTok thing. But if I ever saw somebody charge somebody, which some of them do, they say, drop your name to give that kind of advice, I would turn them in a split second.
Haven't you seen the book too, where they'll have a book full of yes, no, maybe, could be
Yeah,
whatever, and they just flip and flip. Okay, this is for, and it's like it's almost like it's a gallery reading, but it's not. Like
it's
they
not,
make it sound like it's whomever is watching. If somebody's even got a question remotely like that, that this answer is yours. And again, for fun, yeah, but I think it kind of cheapens the process too. Like we were talking about this, Dave, on your
we
TikTok we
were, yeah.
just did about how all of us are capable of what you and I do. We are in some capacity. So I think it really cheapens it when you see stuff like that. I think we have to be so careful to try and do our best to be authentic as well as truthful and have some ethics about this. And I'm not trying to be judgmental, but it's already a questionable, controversial field.
I think we do need to bring some ethics back into it. Just a few. I mean, I know that what we do, because there's so many different types of healers. There's, and then there's the witches,
Even the
and
paranormal, even the
paranormal.
paranormal.
All of us, every one of us needs to go. Okay, the main goal that every one of us should be having is to let people know you don't die. And that's it. And then how you can go through your life is a second thing. If you don't know the first part, then how you're going to get through your life really wouldn't matter. That's what I tell people. They'll be like, I've had people ask me, oh, am I going to, be with my boyfriend for the rest of my life? And then we'll be talking for a minute. And I'm like, do you believe in the after? Do you believe there's reincarnation? Do you believe there's this and that? I'm like, okay, if you don't believe in any of that, why do you care if your boyfriend's going to be with you for the rest of your life? Why do you care? Because you might as well just go jump in a sewer someplace at this point, because
Yeah, well,
that's
we can't force
fine.
people to believe things, but I hear
No,
you.
but
Or
when they
like,
ask those questions as a non-believer, I'm like, why would you ask me the question?
well, we
No,
get skeptics too. We meet all kinds of people. Like, Erica, I'm not sure what you meant. Are you asking what about Llewellyn? Are you talking
I
about the book company Llewellyn? I'm not sure, but I'm going to read Neil's and then Brandy's comment. So Neil says, David Akora, I'm not really familiar with him. Was enacting the scenes he would see through third sight, and he would fall into character like painting a picture of echoes. So was he channeling? Was he pretending to channel, or was he actually like trance channeling? Because I've seen that before. So I need a little. Do you know who David is? David?
do
Yeah,
not
I'm
know
not
who David
familiar.
Dakota is. Brandy said, sadly, so many people desire answers or guidance. So you see an exuberant amount of people enter the field with the sole purpose and intention
Yeah.
of making easy money. Exactly.
And
Ex-
believe me, you don't get rich off of doing this. I'm sorry, but you don't.
the ones who do are scamming. Well, no, there are some. They're well taken care of, and they do a good job, and I'm sure they do. But
Well,
as far
somebody asked about the blonde lady from New Jersey. We kind of moved past that, but I think the ones that end up on TV is
all right,
where
talking, why can't I think of her name? I actually like her, Teresa Caputo.
I like Teresa too.
Listen,
Yeah.
I have to tell you guys something. We make fun of her and she knows it. She's wild, but you know what? She's being her authentic self. She even told everybody she got a divorce. Her family life wasn't that great. She's not hiding anything.
Know what I have a problem with that I think has been made for TV though, and having done a show that was supposedly reality TV that wasn't even close to reality TV with what you see the final product, is when she's out for dinner. And there are people that do this though. But I think we need to set limits and boundaries. Like I teach people, like when I have this ring on or I have this, whatever it is, if you're being bothered by spirits all night long, you need to put your foot down and set some boundaries that no, you cannot be waking me up. I'd be happy to work with you. Say when I light this candle, whatever it is, just as a physical reminder. Like I'm sure, Dave, you don't have to do that, but there are people that are first, when they tap into this gift, a lot of people don't manage it, because I find it very hard to believe that you can't go anywhere without spirit just hounding you and pressing you that you must go deliver this message. Because I'll tell you, there are people that are not ready to hear that message.
No, and I know what you're talking about. Teresa Caputo. What's the other famous medium? I did love her a lot from England. I can't remember her name for a minute.
Sally?
No,
Sally?
she had wild looking hair. She's still popular. She lost a lot of weight now. I'll think of her in a minute. I think it starts with an L. I can't remember.
Neil might know, because I think he's over in the UK, because he's
I
talking
can't
about David
remember all of a
Akora.
sudden. A British. Carr. David Carr. David. I think I know who you're talking about now.
No, she says, somebody said Derek Akora was from the show Most Haunted in the UK.
I think
he's referring to Akora, so I'm not sure. But
anyway, the ones like the TV ones that they do, not Lisa Lisa Lampanelli. I love Lisa Lampanelli, and I used to watch.
She's a comedian. She's not Lisa Lampanelli's comedian.
It's not Lisa Lampanelli. It's Lisa Williams.
No idea who she is.
Lisa Williams is a psychic out of the UK who came here, and she lives here now. Lisa Williams is very cool. Lisa Lampanelli I like as well too, but she's not.
Derek Akora. I know who you're talking about with Derek. I do. Yeah.
I used to be on the fence, but John Edwards, the more and more I do it, I think
I've seen him.
Yeah, I think in the beginning it was just a little raw. They put him on TV so fast, but I think he's legit.
Have you ever seen him in person? Somebody I know, he came to Thunder Bay, where I am in Canada, and they couldn't go. They paid for the tickets, and they asked us if we would go. So Dell and I went, and I got to be honest. Now, I'm never going to call someone fake. Like, I just shared my experience, what happened to me. Okay, so I'm very sensitive about that. But I kind of felt like it was more cold calling with what we were seeing. I'm picking up somebody with an M. All of you in that group, Mama Mary, and then wait for somebody to. Oh yeah, it's you. So I really just didn't.
I can see, but sometimes we are directed that way, because I've done.
Dave, you'd have to see it. Believe me, I'm pulling just something out of the hat. I am telling you, it. I've seen enough mediums now that, and again, maybe he had an off night. I'm not calling him fake, but there was nothing authentic.
I see when they do that, but whenever you watch a medium or a psychic on a TV show, you are only getting the small best parts of it. You have no.
I've seen other mediums in person though, but I mean, for somebody being famous, I saw him. I was like in the 5th row with him. Like, I watched him face to face. Like, I'm telling you, what I picked up, I'm not calling him fake. I don't know if he didn't have a good night or something, and these tickets were very expensive. Like, I wouldn't have paid for them to go see them. I'm very grateful for the gift we were given. And again, he might have had an off night, but this was in person.
I would never go see a famous medium from I wouldn't.
Neither would I.
I can promise you this: I will never ever be a famous medium on TV. I just never want to. I have zero.
Because everybody judges you. Like I said, I saw him in person, and I can't say, like, Rivi, welcome. They say this is also interesting. Always wanted to see a medium in real life. I can't say that because I only saw him the one time. And like I said, I wouldn't have gone. And you got to remember, this is years ago. Like, I was just kind of reacquainting myself with my psychic gifts and using them. So again, I've seen other mediums, not famous ones, do the same type of readings that he did that night. Okay, so I get it. When you're going to a corner of a room, there's a whole group of people. Yes, I get it with the name. I'm telling you, there's just something that just didn't feel quite right. So maybe he was having an off night. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I never heard that about John Edwards. I know
there's John Edwards. What's the other John that's a famous medium?
Van Prague.
No, that's James. There's another John, because John Edwards, was he the one that was on TV?
John Edwards was on TV. Yeah,
Spirit just reminded me and showed me his picture. I feel he's the real deal. That's not the one I saw. I've got one of his decks. The other John. Oh, Robin's finally here. Yeah, awesome. No, let me find his name. It's not John Edwards, because I know who John Edwards is. I think John Edwards is the real deal. I retract. Boy, I'm really retracting tonight. No, it's another John. I have one of his decks. He's been on TV.
You guys, listen to this. The song at the foot of the bed, and Lorilei can't keep her John straight.
Who are the famous mediums
How many
on
Johns
TV?
do you have, Missy?
On TV named John. I'm going to find this because it's not John Edwards. It's the other John. Let's see. John Edwards.
My favorites have always been my UK mediums. I love the spiritual churches in the UK, and I love all that stuff. I love Doris Stokes. She's one of my heroes.
Everybody wants to talk about John Edwards. It's another John. He wears glasses and he's got dark hair. He has decks out there. This is driving me nuts.
Oh no. The TV medium? TV medium?
Yep. Not like he didn't have his own TV show, but he did a lot of TV things, and he's got some kind of teaching institute. He's got decks. Let me look up if he's got oracle decks, because that's who I thought you were talking about. I always get them mixed up. As soon as you say his name, hang on.
John Edwards. John Edwards, I feel is, but see, mediums go about stuff differently. I know that everybody with mediums, they always want names because they go, that's the holy grail. Yeah. And I'll tell you, it's really nice when you're just sitting there and somebody shouts out that name to you right away. Sometimes you only hear an initial, but if
Holland, John Holland, that's who I'm talking about. John Holland. That I saw. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was super excited. John Holland is who I saw in real life, and I was not convinced at all. Sorry, you were saying, Dave. I'm sorry.
I've seen more mediums who aren't famous who are way better than the ones who are.
Yeah.
I guess. Do I think ET channelers are legit like Bashar? I actually Bashar, I believe, is legit.
Oh, I think Bashar is real.
Now, the thing is, there are some channelers. I can tell you this about channeling, and my guys even told me that your voice, I mean, your mannerisms of your voice might change, but the entire voice doesn't change. I watched this one lady bring in this ET, and she did this whole ET voice, and I swear to gosh, I was just sitting there going, "Oh my God, woman, are you freaking kidding me with this crap?" And the thing was, it would have been okay if she had something that was convincing, but it wasn't. Nothing was. Some of the best channelers I see, their voices rarely change. Like Bashar, other than his mannerisms, his voice is the same. I know lots of.
I find his manner of speaking is different. Like, I wouldn't compare him to Daryl Anka, is it, and say that they sound identical. Like, you can definitely tell there's two different.
I know who's Bashar and who's him, but what I'm saying, some of them go through great lengths to have like a female talk through them instead of a male.
And no, I've never seen that. No,
like that, they change their voice. And I mean, who am I to say? I listen to the message. If I think the message is good, I don't care who's channeling it.
I'm going to share from the Next Level Soul podcast in the chat. This is a whole playlist of different people channeling, and I'm going to tell you, I won't tell you which one, but there is one on there that was channeling Saint Germain. And the reason why I think it's not for real. Now, maybe he was channeling, but he happened to say in the interview, because the host, Alex, asked, well, where do all these ascended masters go up in heaven? Like, did they go to a bar or something? He goes, well, that's exactly it, what it is. And then he started explaining about how Saint Germain was sitting off by his own one night as he was channeling this, apparently, and all the ascended masters were basically gossiping and talking about him and talking him down about how, he's doing this wrong and he's doing that wrong. And then Saint Germain gave some words of wisdom, and he explained what these words were. I'm shortening it. I call absolute BS on that, because that crap does not go on in heaven.
I watch that show too. I love that show, actually, because he doesn't take you either way. He just asks the questions. But
no, but the guy talking about, that's humanizing souls and spirits.
That made me very angry to watch that, because I was PO'd.
big
I
time.
have such a big connection to Saint Germain, and I love Saint Germain. And
You
not that
did see it too. Were you just as PO'd? Because I was angry.
I don't channel Saint Germain at all, but I've
I
heard
don't either.
stuff said, but I don't channel him. But when that person did, I thought, well, let me listen to see if
I
his
know.
like. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? It's like
Yeah.
you might think you are, and he didn't have anything terrible to say, but
No.
that's exactly what I thought too. I
Okay.
don't know one guide. I don't know one person who channels a guide where that guide is humanized
Yeah.
because we're not.
No, because we're not going to be, you're coming from a place of love, and you're not truly who you really are once we drop this human body and
Yeah.
we return to as soul energy, and it's pure love on the other side. We're not human. We may maintain a few of our characteristics, like especially if we're connecting, say, down here through a medium or whatever, to show the person, hey, I am who I really am. But you're not going to be up there gossiping and talking smack about other people or other souls, or especially if you're an ascended master, all sitting at the ascended master's elite bar talking smack
No,
about
that's what I thought
Jermaine.
was so funny. Yeah, when I heard that, I have, yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say the guy's a fraud, but I am gonna
I'm
say
not
that.
either, but
But
I didn't resonate with that
he had
message.
a
How about
bit.
that?
I can, you guys, people like I've been around channeling, and I know channeling, and there's a bit of ego that was in that channel. Whenever I sense a bit of ego in the channel, that means that the actual channel is go using his ego at that point. So he's either not listening correctly or he's starting to pop in. Because when you channel, you guys, like when I do my angel channeling, when I do my angel writing, I have to literally move out of the way. If I get in the way at all, that's what, when I first started channeling, I use Grammarly on my computer, and when I was first channel writing for these angel messages, Grammarly went through and corrected everything. And when I went back to read it, I'm like, no, Grammarly, you screwed that up, because Grammarly changed it to our language instead of the language that the actual angel was speaking. So I took Grammarly off when I do that from now on, and now they make more sense.
Well, it's the same thing when we try and humanize, like with the punishment and justice system, and and I've had many of these questions myself. Well, if there is no hell, why bother being a good human being? And like I say, we talked a bit about meditations and what had come through before your show, or the show. I don't know if you want to tell people about it, but quickly, everybody that, like, CEOs meditate, pro athletes meditate. It's when we quiet that space down when we can start to really actually hear. But I can tell you right now, the other side is nothing but pure love. So if it comes through with telling you what you have to do, or is negative in any way or whatever, you're not connecting with the other side as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Now, what she put down here, Next Level Soul Podcast, I have to say this, you guys. I don't know the guy, and I'm not saying it for any reason. I love that YouTube channel. Next
I
Level.
love it too. I love it too.
Love it.
Yeah.
The guy who does the interviews, I think, is possibly the best interviewer of all of us weird people, because
I don't think so.
I think he's a great interviewer.
He's a good interviewer.
Yeah.
Alex Ferrari.
No, that is, yeah. Alex Ferrari is a wonderful interview, and he asks the right questions too. Although he doesn't call people out, and he never would call anybody out.
Let
I
me
don't
grab
know.
a towel, guys. Sorry. Go ahead. You come clean up the coffee. My dog's going to be high on coffee, guys. Hang on. I just spilled my coffee. Keep talking. Sorry.
That's okay. I can talk for the both of us.
I'll be 2 seconds.
But the guy has a great channel. I love stuff like that. I don't know how much I am. I don't. If you do watch people who
Okay, I'm going to tell you. Don't get me wrong, Dave. He's an amazing interviewer. There's the only thing I disagree with is the fact that because he's done so many of these interviews, I'm starting to notice now where he's having expectations, whereas before it was true curiosity. He's having expectations. Like I have heard him say things like, well, you didn't have a typical NDE, near-death experience. There is no such thing as a typical NDE. Now, will the media tell you that? Yes. Or I understand why he will ask the same questions of everybody, because he's trying to find out, do these answers compare? Are they different? Don't get me wrong. It's one of my favorite channels to watch.
I like when people question NDE people. I joined an NDE. I told you about that NDE group that I joined. And the first person I read, he started putting his NDE down. He's saying that, oh yeah, when I went to the other side and Jesus told us we had to do that and we had to repent in hell and all this stuff. And I wrote all these books about it. And
Mhm.
I wanted to say something so bad, but I didn't. I just started reading the comments and I thought, oh, look, everybody is saying exactly what I thought. Dude, you're lying and you're just trying to sell a book.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Don't get me wrong. He's very he's a great communication person. It's one of my favorite channels to watch. I tell everybody about this podcast. I think he's done a beautiful thing. I think he has the connections. But like I said, would I say he's the best interviewer out there? No, because I find even when he'll say he's going to ask tough questions, again, I understand why he's asking the same questions of different people. But I feel that there would be a different way to ask it or whatever. We always have an opinion, right? Everybody has an opinion. What I will tell you guys is check it out because it is one of the best, I think, podcasts out there for spiritual exploration.
Anything you watch, if you resonate with it, that's all that needs to be.
There's something for everybody on that there, though. The power of positivity, the power to heal yourself, near-death experiences, channeling, you name it. Bashar's on there lots of times, and he tells you how he knows Daryl Anka, and it's so enjoyable. And like, I'm really hooked on the channeling because I want to see. I think why I got hooked is, and I'm not coming from a place of ego, but you'll hear them channel something and it'll be like, holy crap, I just got that from spirit like about a month ago or whatever. Yeah. So it's evidential proof. I really enjoy it and I highly recommend it. Hi, Faye.
Hi, Faye.
She is one of our new hosts. Got to give her a shout out. Her, Faye and Roger, they've got Latino Psychic Visions on Wednesday nights. And then they've got This Mug's for You on Saturday mornings. They do readings on their show and talk about different topics. So be sure to check them out. Thanks for dropping in, Faye and Roger, if you're in the background. Oh, poor Liam. He goes, I'll have to sit at the nerd table. There is no nerd table.
In fact, I think, well, I was going to know, do nerds make good psychics? I have no clue.
Do we know any fake good psychics? Is that what somebody said?
Okay, Brandy Reader, having had 2 NDEs, I know that my experiences were completely different than others. I didn't see a bright light or those in higher power. I connected with my loved ones. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know it does change, Brandy. I mean, I'm the same way. I did not go into a light. They showed me the light from the side. I watched all the people go through it, and then immediately I got like this tour. I was all over the place. But mine wasn't just I don't know what part is when I actually flatlined, and because I was being taken from me all for 2 months. So I was in and out. The one thing I will say, what's really cool, Arlie, I got to see the world. I got to see 2D worlds. That was,
you said that before.
Yeah, that was odd. That was very odd. The 2D.
I want to explain the difference quickly because we kind of talked about this if we had time to get into it. Now, I believe I've had a near-death experience as a toddler. Yeah. So mine comes in flash.
She might have gotten frozen there for a minute. So, are you unfroze?
Yeah, I think so. Sorry about that. I was
just going to talk while you were frozen. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, as a toddler, I get bits and pieces. So that's why I love to hear. And I've studied this for 40 years professionally and personally to hear other people's experiences. But I can tell you this beyond a shadow of doubt. When somebody like Brandy or David try to explain what love is on the other side, being one with each other, with the colors, the music, the sounds, I know exactly what they're talking about, and our language does not explain it. And I will get a flash of a vision of what I've seen, what I experienced. So it's kind of interesting to compare the two.
And I believe too, some people who, when we get NDEs, there are some, they might just, I always tell everybody, we were blessed with a glimpse just so we could remember something. And sometimes just somebody, I talked to a lady, she said, all I remembered are the angels coming to get me. I saw my mom and all that, and she was out of her body, and then she felt all this, and then she was put back. That was her entire NDE. And people are like, well, that's not much of an NDE. Yes, it is. If you were there, it wouldn't matter if you were on that other side for 2 seconds or 20 minutes.
Yeah, but it met her needs or their
Yeah.
needs, whoever had it. They had it for the reason
Yes.
for their journey.
Exactly. I think the NDEs are even tailored for what you need.
I do too. Can I
Yep.
address this comment here? Rivi says, I never had an NDE, but my first memory I still somehow remember is floating down into my body as a very small child in a stroller. It's a bit boring, but it confuses me to this day. I don't think it's boring at all. And the fact is, again, going to push Next Level Soul podcast. There are people on there that remember coming from heaven and passing through, if you will, heaven into the birth canal and being born, the birth experience. You could have been maybe built into this experience, just a guess, Rivi, that, and I believe very small children can do this, can have OBEs, out of body, very easily. And you just might have recognized as you came back into your body, right? I know Dave's itching. Go ahead, Dave.
I find very interesting that you brought up was the fact that people who have before life memory or how they got here, if you ever listen to a lot of them, those are slightly different too. Like the light is something that that most people see over there. Animals don't, and that's why they call it a bridge, because animals just go over. They don't have to go through what we go through. But it's everybody goes there a certain way, whatever most comfortable for you. It's the same in getting here, because some spirits, they wait till the very last minute that woman has that child before they go into that body. And then there's some who stay in there the entire 9 months. And here's what's really freaky. Some don't come in till after the baby's actually born.
Absolutely agree 100%. It's because babies, newborn babies, in between feeding consistently, but they're not really conscious, right? They're looking around, kind of like what's going on, but they sleep a lot.
The spirit is attached to the body at that point. The silver cord,
it's not fixed, right?
Yeah. But they can go in and out, because that's what I was doing during the hospital. They were yanking me in and out of myself for 2 months, which I thought was a hoot. When I think back on it, I'm like, that was wild. But it's not painful at all. It was confusing. That's about it.
Emily, she says, I have to split, but thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. We're glad you were here. Everybody that's here.
Oh, and I guess we're probably
almost out of time, Dave. I just realized.
I just looked. Oh, let me say, well, quick read this one, and then we're going to give you our info. My mom's NDE, she was in a circle of people and the light flashing over everyone's faces, voices saying, who lands on gets another chance. What?
Voices saying whoever this lands on gets another chance, because it was in a circle and a light. Maybe whomever this lands on gets another chance. Maybe it landed on her mom. Maybe that's why she came back. So Brandy says her NDE was almost euphoric.
Oh, they are euphoric. They're beautiful.
Oh, Erica, you're leaving us with this comment. We'll have to remind us next week because we got to run, but we'll read it quickly, and then we got to get out of here for the next show. Stay tuned, you guys, because like I said, the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Bazzano is up next. Second night. They have Wednesdays and Thursday nights. You'll love it. Anyways, Erica Miras, do you want to read it, Dave?
Erica Miras says, I watched myself give birth to my daughter on 9/11/01 until my mom grabbed my head and slammed me forward, saying, look at your baby. She said she knew I was gone, but that slammed me back into my body. Oh, I get what you mean. Yeah, because you were passing away and they figured it out and kind of brought you back real quick. Okay. I believe that happens too.
Okay, let's clarify Michelle's comment, because she said what happened with her mom's NDE with the circle and the light. It was what she meant to type was whoever the light landed on got another chance, and it landed on her mom. Super interesting. Wow. I'm gonna have to continue this discussion next week.
Yeah. But you guys, listen, if you'd like to get a hold of me and know more about me, you can go to my website, theywhispertome.com. You can find me on TikTok, where I answer all kinds of questions about the afterlife. Facebook and Instagram, all under David Hanzel, spiritual medium, and my website is theywhispertome.com. And my other podcast, which is pre-recorded, you can find just about anywhere, is called Mystic Stew. Take it away, Lorilei.
Okay, just so you know, Dave and I never message people for private readings. So if you get them, it's scammers, because you guys have to reach out to us. So if you ever want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on facebook.com/The Angel Rock. If you want a guest idea, show suggestion, you want to book a reading, I do healing sessions and mentoring. I have 2 groups on Facebook, Paranormal University for all things paranormal, and the Angel Rocker Tribe for many of the spiritual things. Do not forget, we will be all over social media with the Rift Network on the Orion Effect, Sunday, July 9th from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with host Howie Odell, who is in the chat or was. Also, I will be back with the Angel Rock on Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have one of our newer hosts coming on, I believe, Adriana. She's got an amazing show. I call it Liquid Gold. She teaches you how to run a business smarter, so that it's smarter and you're not working harder, basically. We're going to talk about all kinds of spooky things, business things. It's going to be a lot of fun. So otherwise, I think I remembered everything.
Yeah, I think we got it. And this is Pom Pom saying bye to everybody. Lorilei might have froze again.
Did I freeze? I'm here, aren't I? Am I here? Am I here? Hello?
Is it cold in there? Are you freezing?
I think I am. It means get the heck out of here, I guess, for me. All right, you ready, Dave?
Yep. 1, 2, 3.
What's at the foot of your bed?
Foot of your thong.
Again, we screwed. One of these times we're going to get it right at the same time. We love y'all. Much love and light. We'll see you hopefully on TikTok too, either Wednesday night or next Thursday on Dave's TikTok, the Spirit Experience. Or no, David Hanzel, the medium, right?
Yep.
David Hanzel, medium. David Hanzel. Sorry, I'm screwing it up.
Anywhere.
All right. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Liam. Come on back. We enjoy having you all here too. Okay. See you soon, guys. Stay tuned for the next show, Outer Realm.